Hey everybody, it's Shaman Sister Sin, and you're listening to the Meditations and More podcast brought to you by shamanspiritcenter.com and littleshaman.org. That's me, Little Shaman. Today I wanted to talk to you about how to avoid narcissists. Now we could say things like avoid dating apps and social media and jobs and life. In fact, just never go anywhere or talk to anybody ever again. But the truth is, you could encounter a narcissist anywhere. It's better to have a little more of a concrete plan. You can't avoid them in life, but you can avoid getting involved with them, and we are going to talk about 5 ways to do that. Number 1, have strong boundaries. One of the best ways to avoid becoming entangled with narcissists is to create and keep strong boundaries. Narcissists push people's boundaries as a matter of course. They generally don't understand them, nor do they respect them. They see no delineation between themselves and other people, therefore, there's no need for personal sovereignty and no necessity to take anyone's needs, space, or feelings into consideration. What they feel is what you feel. What they need is what you need. What they want is what you want. If it isn't, it should be. If they feel someone was rude to them, you should also feel that that person was rude to them. If they feel they need to be the most important thing, you should also feel that they need to be the most important thing. This is not just about agreeing with them, it goes deeper than that. In a narcissistic relationship, you as a separate person do not really exist for any practical purpose or in any true way. Boundaries help you assert and retain your sovereignty so that you don't become engulfed and absorbed into other people. They are the definitions of you as a sovereign individual person and the epitome of self-care. Boundaries help you avoid narcissists because not only do narcissists have no use for someone with strong boundaries, but you will know that someone is toxic and unhealthy by the way they regard your boundaries. For example, let's say a new friend makes a joke about you that you don't really like, and that happens. Sometimes somebody can't know the line until they step over it. So then you tell this new friend, hey, you know what? I know we don't really know each other that well, but just so you know, I don't really like jokes like that. If someone is respectful and they care about you, they will apologize, but more importantly, they won't do it again. This is one of the most telltale ways you can recognize toxic people. They don't respect boundaries. They want you to take more of the responsibility for them, for the situation, or for the relationship than you should. They want you to push your feelings, your needs, or your concerns to the side for them. They want to take advantage of your time, your money, your emotional resources. They want the relationship to be unbalanced and mostly one-sided. Strong boundaries prevent you from getting into these relationships before they even start. They also help you recognize toxic relationships that you might already be in. And remember, boundaries are not about just saying no to other people. They're about saying no to yourself. They're about making decisions in your own best interest, even if it's not really what you want to do. It's all about self-care and operating in your own best interests. Number 2, pay attention. Many times, when narcissistic people are able to get past someone's defenses, it's because the person was vulnerable for some reason. They might have been going through a hard time financially, maybe their loved one passed away, maybe they temporarily lost their confidence somehow, maybe the narcissist was someone they knew previously, and because of that they were less vigilant than they might have been. It's important to remember that toxic, predatory people will take advantage of vulnerabilities or someone who's not alert. Therefore, it's very important to pay attention. Listen to what a person says to you and to other people. When someone's story does not make sense, ask questions. If your questions are ignored or they're not really answered, pay attention to that. Don't ignore red flags. Don't excuse behavior that makes no sense or is hurtful. Don't ignore attempts to push against or violate your boundaries. Take negative, irresponsible, immature, and deceptive behavior seriously. Pay attention to how a person behaves, how they treat those around them, and don't think you'll be the exception to the rule because you won't. It's your job to make sure that you're safe and that you're making decisions in your own best interest. Remember, if you are too vulnerable to pay attention to your own safety or to enforce boundaries, you're too vulnerable for a relationship. This is not a good time to start new relationships or rekindle old ones of any kind. Friendship, family, romantic, doesn't matter. You're not ready. Number 3, trust yourself. This is so unbelievably important. Often people see the red flags, right? But they question their perception or they don't want to believe that. Toxic people, like narcissists, of course, play right into that. It becomes very easy to simply write off or excuse many things. This is a mistake. You know what happened, you know how you felt, you know what you saw. Trust yourself. Trust yourself to know what's right for you. Trust yourself to know what's wrong for you. Trust yourself to show up for yourself, to show the same commitment to you that you show to other people. Trust your gut. Your head can be confused. Your heart can be confused. Your gut never is. Learn to listen to it even when you don't want to. Very important. Now, another side of this can be that people are afraid to trust others even in situations where they should. This is because they don't trust themselves. How can you trust other people not to betray you when you betray yourself? How can you trust others to treat you as if you matter when you don't do that? You don't treat you as if you matter. The unhealed heart fears trusting other people. It believes that everyone is out to hurt it because it's coming from a place of hurt. But trusting others is only scary when you're depending on them to do for you what you should be doing for yourself, such as validate you, validate your self-worth, or give you purpose and identity. When you can do these things for yourself, trusting others is a lot less scary, especially because it's not their responsibility to do those things. It's yours. Number 4, listen to yourself. Just as important as trusting yourself is listening to yourself. Validate your own experiences. Take your own concerns seriously. Don't talk yourself out of your feelings or what you experienced. Once again, pay attention to your gut and what your body is telling you. If you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling nervous, if you're feeling upset, if you're feeling exhausted, pay attention to that. Listen to your feelings, to your body, and what these things are trying to tell you. If something doesn't make sense, if it doesn't feel right, if it seems off, if it seems too good to be true, listen to these things. You're experiencing them for a reason. They should not be ignored. Part of listening to yourself and trusting yourself also is speaking your truth. If something doesn't feel right, say so. If you need time alone, if you're feeling some type of way, assert that. Stand up for you. Show up for you. No one else is going to do that. It's up to you. Number 5, do the work to heal. Besides boundaries, the most important thing you can do to avoid getting entangled with narcissistic people is to do the work to heal. The most common way people end up stuck in these relationships, whether they are family or romantic or any other kind, is because they were conditioned to accept that kind of treatment. This conditioning can happen in different ways, but it usually has its roots in childhood. Find the patterns in your life. Break the conditioning. Address the old wounds so that you can create new patterns and make healthy choices. We cannot hope to change things without changing them, and that's just how it is. The thing we must change the most is ourselves. Just so happens that's the only thing we can change. But that's okay because it's the only thing we need to change. Identifying toxicity in others is only half the battle. We must be willing and able to identify unhealthy behaviors in ourselves as well. Otherwise, the face of the person we're in the toxic relationship may change, but the situation never will. The truth is, the only toxic relationship we really truly have is with ourselves. All our other relationships mirror that. The treatment we are willing to accept from others mirrors the way we treat ourselves. If we betray ourselves, we will accept others betraying us. If we disregard our own well-being, we will accept others disregarding our well-being as well. Once we start treating ourselves better, we stop accepting mistreatment from other people. This is where healing truly lies. I hope this clears a few things up for you. As always, I look forward to your comments, questions, and suggestions, so please keep those coming. I take appointments online, over the phone, via text, via Skype, via email, and pretty much every other way you can get a hold of somebody. So if you're interested in speaking with me one-on-one, you can visit littleshaman.org to do that. And while you're there, check out the tools section of the site. There's some new stuff in there you may be interested in. You've been listening to the Meditations and More podcast brought to you by littleshaman.org and shamanspiritcenter.com. That's me, Little Shaman. May the Great Spirit bless you and have a wonderful day.